Hello friends, this is Carrie and welcome back to I Like Reddit channel. Today we have 4 stories out of the Entitled Parents subreddit. Let's begin. Our first story is by Homo Buggian. Entitled Dad flat out calls my dad a liar because he doesn't look disabled. For some reason, it's almost like my dad and I are EP magnets. When we're together, we usually have some sort of encounter. They're usually pretty minor most of the time, but occasionally they're absolute horror shows. This was one of those times. The cast. Bug, that's me, your idiotic narrator. Dad, big brown guy I happen to share genes with. Entitled Dad, ED. Very angry, very overweight man in a minivan. EM, the minivan man's wife. She was kind of okay. K1 and 2, 2 very annoying children, probably about 2 to 3 years younger than me. My dad and I haven't always gotten along, so while I was on leave, we tried to hang out as much as possible. So mostly, that's us running to the store for groceries and other little things. This encounter happened in a Walmart parking lot, so I'm not surprised by the lack of brain cells from the entire entitled family we met. A little backstory. My dad is a veteran, 100% disabled due to his time overseas as a parachuter when he was younger. This means he was able to park in handicapped parking spots. He does this occasionally when his knees are giving him more issues than normal pain. Today was one of those days. A little more info about my dad. He doesn't look like he's disabled, even though he's pushing 50 and still works out as much as his body will allow him to. The man is built like a gorilla and looks like he's still an infantryman. On to the story. My mom asked my dad and I to head over to the store and pick up some food for dinner. Honestly, we ended up grabbing more snacks than anything, but we got what mom had asked for. As we were checking out, we heard the voice of God. Not really. It was the intercom asking for the owner of a gray Ford F-150 parked in a handicap spot to please come to the customer service desk. Dad. Oh, hell, man. If someone stole my truck, I'm gonna cry. OP. Someone probably just doesn't realize that you have DV on your license plate, meaning you're a disabled vet. Bet you 20 that's what it is. He and I finished checking out and headed over to where we were summoned and looked for whoever was calling us. The first thing we noticed was an absolute whale of a man, his 2 kids, and his wife standing there. Believe it or not, the man's face was red. You probably could have fried an egg on his face. Also, to be fair, calling the man a whale is an overstatement. He was probably only 250 to 270, but that's still fairly heavy. But this is coming from a 150-pound stick bug, so what do I know? Entitled Dad. Is that your freaking truck, you piece of crap? Why the hell did you take up handicap spot if you're not obviously handicapped? Entitled Mom. Her voice would have actually been pleasant if she wasn't so angry. My husband has a very serious hip issue, and he had to walk from the back of the parking lot to the front of the store because of your rudeness. Dad. Sir? Madam, I can park there because I'm a disabled vet. Entitled Dad. BS. If you're so disabled, you shouldn't be able to maintain your body like that. Me. Sir, he was injured overseas. Some days are worse than others, and today his knees keep locking up. My dad then lifted his pant leg to show his knee brace, which honestly looked more like some futuristic exoskeleton, make you run faster, jump farther than ever thing. The woman immediately looked embarrassed and apologized, something I wish her husband had done. Entitled Dad. I don't give a crap. I had to risk messing up my hip even more because of your sensitive dad's knee hurt, kid. I have actual pain. Entitled Mom. Sir, please forgive my husband. He's just angry right now. Entitled Dad. Shut up, EM. Let me handle this. My dad and I honestly just wanted to get the hell out at this point, so we turned around to walk away when I felt a hand on my shoulder. K1. Hey kid, apologize to my dad before you leave, a-hole. Now most stories would like to have you believe, this kid didn't realize I was a black belt in every form of hand-to-hand combat and punched him hard enough to destroy half the store. But I'm a realist. I don't enjoy fighting very much. OP. Bro, I don't have to apologize for anything, so let me go. K1. Heck no, jerk. My dad could have hurt his hip real bad from walking because of you too. Apologize before I beat your butt. OP. I don't think I want to. At this point, I was mad from this kid having his grimy high school hands on my shoulder, so I yanked his hand off and started to walk away. K1. Hey, F you, kid. My dad and I walked away, got into the truck. When we shut our doors, we both burst out laughing because of the entitled dad's idiocy and his kid's rudeness. Dad: hey man, I'm proud of you for not starting a fight. Thanks for standing up for me too. But I had it. OP: I was standing up for you? Nah man, I was making sure he didn't realize you were disabled, so I won the bet. Dad: never mind. You're a butthole. OP: yeah, I get it from my dad. And that's it. No big scenes or climaxes or anything. Nobody throat chopped a Karen or got arrested. We just went home, made enchiladas, had a few bowls of ice cream afterwards. Anyway, on to our next story. Our next story is posted by Shy Girl Turned Sassy, entitled Mommy, Don't Buy Chocolates, It's Upsetting My Kid. I was grocery shopping and decided to pick up a few bars of chocolate. That's when I heard the ear-piercing screams of what I could only imagine was an entitled kid. He looked like he was somewhere between 5 and 6 years old. He began to violently pull his mother's arm and pointing at my chocolate bars and yelling at her to buy him some. EM, entitled Mom: did you have to pick that up in front of him? Me: what? EM: can't you see you're upsetting my child? Me: well, that's your problem. EM, in between trying to get her demon spawn to act like a human being: you need to put them back. My son only started demanding chocolate when he saw you take them. Just put them back now. You can get some later. You shouldn't make kids jealous. I just smiled at her, approached the chocolate shelf, but instead of putting them back, I actually took a few more. It earned me death glares from the EM and earned the EM another round of tantrums from the EK. Petty? Yes. Satisfying? Heck yeah. I don't think OP went far enough. I think they should have grabbed the rest of the chocolates. That tantrum should definitely be earned, and I think the entitled mom definitely deserved a bigger tantrum inside that store. Anyway, on to our next story. If you're enjoying my content so far, please put some heart emojis in the comment section below. Our next story is by Young Scum Tuck. Salt your driveway so my kids can play there. I deliver newspapers as a side job. I feel bad for an owner of one specific house I deliver to. All the neighborhood parents collectively decided that this guy's driveway is where they'd wait with their kids for the school bus every morning. It shouldn't be an issue, but the parents socialize on the curb and ignore their children. The kids run rampant on this guy's property, chasing each other around his car and running across his lawn, playing in his garden, screaming on his front steps at 8 a.m. I'm pretty sure the homeowner isn't okay with this at all, but the parents and kids treat him and his property with major disrespect anyway. This winter, we've had a lot of freezing and thawing, resulting in several inch thick ice almost everywhere, including this guy's driveway. After one particularly rainy day, followed by a freezing night, everyone's driveways looked similar to a skating rink. Just as I got out of the car to deliver the paper, the homeowner is coming out of his house and headed towards his car. One of the mothers approaches him and instantly asks, "Why isn't your driveway salted?" The homeowner responded, "I really don't have time for that. I'm running late for work. I gotta pick up breakfast on the way." This response isn't good enough for the entitled mom, who begins yelling about her precious kid could get hurt while playing in this guy's property. She calls him selfish and irresponsible, as he explains that clearing his driveway for her kids isn't his job and that they shouldn't be playing there anyway. He finally gets past the entitled mom, into his car, and quickly drives away. The entitled mom walks back over to the group of parents to complain about the homeowner as I get back into my car. This happened a few months back. The parents still gather in this guy's driveway, let their kids run amok every morning, and I feel really bad for this guy. If I was the homeowner, I'd put up a fence and cameras and signs that say no trespassing, because if one of those kids or one of those parents gets hurt on his property, they could come back and sue him. A poster in the comments section recommended the OP of the story tell the homeowner to bring this up with the school that these kids attend and see if the school could do something about it. Anyway, on to our final story. Our final story today was posted by Sumo Ninja 17, entitled Parents Complain About Our Electric Fence. They wind up admitting their kids are the neighborhood thieves. Another poster reminded me about the neighborhood outcry over our electric fence. We had a couple of hundred cars and other motor vehicles stored at any given time. The neighborhood kids, older teens, some were actually adults, like to break in and steal personal items left in the cars: wallets, radios, GPS units, etc. If they stole the radio out of the dash, they'd rip the dash all apart. So we'd have to replace the radio and repair the dashboard. It would be a very expensive repair. We had a fence over 6 feet tall, topped with razor wire and alarms. They'd find a way over it. Usually, they'd throw a mattress on the razor wire and hop over using the cars. To protect ourselves, we put up electric fence inside our security fence. The electric fence was 6 feet inside the outer fence. Neighborhood parents decided that they were up in arms about the complete disregard for their little brats. The local councilman and police lieutenant came to me asking what we could do to calm the neighborhood. Mind you, the electric fence was installed with the blessing of the local government, fully permitted and licensed. I told the politician, he was a real mouthpiece, that we would not be disarming or removing the fence. He told me the neighbors were very concerned for their children. I asked him which neighbors were the most vocal. He told me. I looked at the lieutenant and told him that those were the kids to look at who were doing the burglaries and thefts in the area. The politician asked why. I told him the parents most worried about their kids who knew their kids were climbing other fences and stealing and vandalizing cars. Then I showed them the fence. You would seriously think the councilman would have taken a closer look at the setup, but he only looked at the big yellow voltage warning sign. When we got to the storage facility, the lieutenant laughed and the councilman looked like he had walked in on his wife in bed with his best friend. He was mad and surprised at the same time. They looked at the setup. The electric fence was 2 full steps inside the property. There was no way to accidentally contact it from the sidewalk. The only way to get it would be to climb the outer security fence. The kids weren't allowed in there ever, under any circumstances. It didn't take long for the councilman to learn that he had been played by the neighbors. The lieutenant was fairly entertained. He actually laughed, and then the councilman said something politically correct and left. I looked at the lieutenant and we talked about the families that were really upset about the fence. They outed themselves as the suspect in a number of crimes. One of the older kids would shoot someone about 2 years later. He was actually caught on a stolen ATV from one of our other locations. The lieutenant chuckled and said, "Now I have to figure out what to say to the parents of these crooks." That's all the stories I have today. Please stop on by Reddit to show the OP some love and an upvote. Links to the original stories will be in the description box below. If you enjoy my content, please like and subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to hit the bell notification to let you know when I've uploaded new content. Thank you for watching and have a great day.